always know where I'm headed, but I always find a way to keep going. Roll with me.
Peace. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Olivia. And today, we're just going to talk. Because I definitely didn't plan on recording today, but, well, it's time to stop hiding. So I'm just going to talk and share some things that I was inspired to share today. So some stories are told, right? And these are stories from well-meaning people, pastors, friends, family. They don't actually help us heal, right? They can honestly do the opposite. They can plant guilt. They can keep us stuck. And sometimes they tend to linger long after everyone else has moved on, right? So when my son passed in 2003, and that was, I don't know, y'all do the math, 22 years ago. Something my pastor said to me, my pastor at the time said to me, well, I know his intentions were good, but he said, maybe it was a blessing because you could have possibly been a single mom, and his dad probably wouldn't have been around, and your life would have been hell. Like, can you imagine hearing that when you're shattered, trying to stay strong, barely holding it together, still trying to process the fact that your baby is gone, and someone you trusted said something like that? Especially, your pastor, and, you're at church and you don't want to crash out. But I can honestly say in that moment, I crashed out internally. Not dramatically, not loudly, but quietly inside myself. Like something broke. Like the air got sucked out of the room. And even though I was respectful in my response, I still spoke my piece. I told him in my own way that that's not needed right now. I don't need any reasoning. I don't need any spiritual insight. I just needed some room to not only grieve and process, but to finish planning the funeral, which is not the easiest thing to do. And I honestly needed people around me to just hold space without trying to make it make sense, because nothing could make it make sense. But even after speaking up, I still felt guilt creeping in. Like, you know what? Maybe he's right. Maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I didn't pray hard enough. Maybe I did something wrong. But still, I had to keep going, right? I had to do whatever I needed to do to finish planning my son's funeral. Make arrangements, talk to family, hold space for other people while I could barely hold myself. Because when you're a parent, even in death, you're still showing up. It wasn't just his words that hurt. It was the seed that the words planted. That silent voice that said, you weren't enough. You failed them. God didn't choose you to be their parent after all. And when you're already raw and broken, those thoughts sink deep. They shape the way you carry yourself. They bury themselves in your body. And even years later, you'll still find yourself unraveling the guilt. Right? But here's what I know now. Not every story spoken over your pain is truth. Not every lesson is rooted in love. And not every maybe it was for the best is God. Some things people say are projections of their own fear, their own biases, or theology that hasn't sat with real grief. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe in a loving God. But I don't believe my child's life was disposable. I don't believe my grief is something to fix or fast forward through. And I sure as hell don't believe I was being punished. I love deeply. I carried life. I prayed. And when he passed, I did what parents do. I honored him. Even in heartbreak. Even while breaking. Okay? So, if someone ever told you something during your grief that felt more like a wound than a word of comfort, I want you to know you don't have to carry that. You don't have to internalize it. You don't have to keep their version of your story. You get to choose what you believe now. And I believe you loved. I believe you gave everything you had. I believe that your child's life, no matter how short, mattered. And so does your grief. So to the mothers that are still healing, to the fathers still carrying unspoken pain, to the parents who weren't acknowledged in their heartbreak or who were told to stay strong before they were allowed to fall apart, you are not forgotten. You are not broken. You are not to blame. You are still a parent. And your love didn't end when their heartbeat did. Speak your truth. Let yourself feel. Release the guilt you were never meant to carry. And remember, you're doing your best. You always were, even when no one saw it. Even when no one said it. You were loving through the hardest thing imaginable. And that love still lives. I love you. That's all I have. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, drop it in the comments below. And if any part of this video resonated with you, feel free to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend.